I still remember the Thanksgiving disaster of 2023. My old freestanding stove decided to unevenly bake my turkey while burning the sides, completely ruining dinner. When I went shopping for an upgrade, the market was overwhelming. Navigating the sea of slide-in electric stoves with confusing features and wildly varying price tags was a massive headache. You've probably felt that exact frustration too. That's why I spent weeks testing the top models to find out which ones actually deliver. Today, I'm ranking the 7 best slide-in electric stoves, and wait until you see the game-changing feature on our number 1 pick. 7. LG LTL7337F. When I first brought this double oven slide-in electric range into the test kitchen, I was genuinely excited about the prospect of cooking multiple dishes at different temperatures simultaneously. The sleek stainless steel finish and the front control panel give it a premium, modern look that instantly upgrades the kitchen's aesthetic. Having a total capacity of 7.3 cubic feet split between 2 ovens seemed like the ultimate solution for large holiday meals or weekly meal prepping. In my testing, the ProBake convection system in the lower oven worked exactly as advertised. I baked 3 trays of chocolate chip cookies at once, and the heat distribution from the back wall element resulted in perfectly even browning across every single rack. The cooktop is also quite versatile, featuring 5 heating elements, including a dual-zone burner that easily accommodated my massive stock pot during a lengthy simmer. Boiling water was relatively fast, and the flat glass surface wiped down cleanly after a few accidental spills. However, living with this double oven design revealed some significant frustrations that I simply cannot ignore. Because they squeeze 2 ovens into a standard slide-in space, the lower oven sits practically on the floor. Every time I had to check on a heavy roast or lift a Dutch oven out of that bottom cavity, it felt like an extreme lower back workout. If you have mobility issues or just don't enjoy squatting down to retrieve your meals, navigating this design becomes exhausting very quickly. Furthermore, the upper oven is surprisingly cramped. While it's perfectly fine for flat sheet pans or pizzas, I found it virtually useless for anything taller than a small casserole dish. 6. GPHS 930YPFS. This model steps away from traditional radiant heat and ventures into induction cooking. I was eager to put this technology through its paces, especially given the promises of gas-like responsiveness combined with electric energy efficiency. The edge-to-edge glass surface looks incredibly striking, and the slide-in profile integrates beautifully with standard countertops, creating a custom built-in appearance without the expensive kitchen remodel price tag. Performance-wise, the induction cooktop is blazing fast. I timed a large pot of water for pasta, and it hit a rolling boil in a fraction of the time my old radiant stove took. Inside, the oven features a built-in no preheat air fry mode. I tested this with a large batch of frozen chicken wings, and they came out surprisingly crispy without the need for a bulky countertop appliance cluttering my workspace. The built-in Wi-Fi and smart features also allow you to monitor your bake from your phone, which is genuinely convenient when you're multitasking. But despite the high-tech appeal and impressive speed, I found myself getting increasingly annoyed by a few glaring issues during my weeks of testing. First and foremost is the operational noise. When running the induction burners at high power, the cooktop emits a high-pitched buzzing and clicking sound that I found deeply distracting while trying to cook in peace. You also have to completely replace your pots and pans if they aren't magnetic, which is a hidden cost that catches a lot of buyers off guard. Additionally, the digital touch controls on the front glass panel are far too sensitive. 5. LG LREN6323E. This model brings us back to standard radiant electric cooking, but wraps it in a highly functional, user-friendly package. Right out of the box, the first thing I noticed was a massive 6.3 cubic feet of oven capacity. This single oven design feels like a cavern compared to the cramped compartments of the double oven we looked at earlier. The brilliant blue interior is a signature LG touch that adds a fun pop of color every time you open the oven door. During my hands-on time, I put the built-in air fry feature to the ultimate test with a massive batch of homemade French fries. Unlike smaller countertop air fryers, I was able to spread the fries out on a massive rack, and the high-speed convection fan circulated the hot air perfectly, delivering a golden crunch without any messy frying oil. The cooktop features a 3-in-1 element that adapts to different pot sizes, which I found incredibly useful when switching between a small saucepan for gravy and a wide skillet for searing steaks. What really stood out to me was the ThinQ smart technology integration. I am normally skeptical of smart appliances, but being able to use voice commands through my smart speaker to preheat the oven while I was elbow deep in bread dough was a surprisingly practical luxury. The oven also features a print-proof finish, and in my chaotic test kitchen, it genuinely resisted the usual smudges and greasy fingerprints that normally plague stainless steel appliances. While it doesn't have the lightning speed of induction, the radiant elements hold a very consistent simmer. The control knobs feel sturdy and provide tactile feedback that I vastly prefer over finicky touchscreens. 4. Frigidaire Gallery GCFE3060BF. If you want a slide-in range that balances premium features with exceptional everyday practicality, this model is a serious contender. The exterior boasts a smudge-proof stainless steel that actually lives up to its name. I spent weeks cooking heavily on this unit, and it required significantly less wiping down than most of the other models I tested. The front control layout is angled perfectly, making it incredibly easy to read and operate without having to lean over hot burners. When I fired up the oven, the total convection system completely won me over. It offers over a dozen specialized cooking modes, including air fry, air sous vide, and steam bake. I tried the steam bake function for a loaf of sourdough bread, and the results were bakery quality. A beautifully blistered, crusty exterior with a perfectly soft crumb inside. The oven preheats remarkably fast, saving me precious minutes on busy weeknights when I just needed to get a frozen pizza on the table for dinner. The cooktop is equally impressive, featuring a flexible 5-burner setup. I made great use of the space-wise expandable element, which can resize to fit a standard pot or expand to accommodate a large oval griddle. Cooking Sunday morning pancakes for the family was a breeze because the heat distributed evenly across the entire griddle surface, eliminating those frustrating cold spots. The warming zone in the center is also a lifesaver for keeping side dishes hot while you finish up the main course. What I appreciate most about this Frigidaire is how intuitive it is out of the box. You don't need a manual to figure out how to switch between convection, roasting, and standard baking. 3. LG LSEL6335FE. This slide-in electric range takes everything great about standard radiant stoves and elevates it to a near-professional level. Aesthetically, it is stunning. The heavy-duty metal knobs have a premium heft to them, and they illuminate with a sleek LED light when the burners are active. This isn't just visually striking. It's a brilliant safety feature that allowed me to see exactly which burner was still hot from across the room during my testing. Inside the massive 6.3 cubic foot oven, LG's ProBake convection really flexes its culinary muscles. By moving the primary heating element to the back wall rather than the bottom, the oven essentially functions like a commercial unit. I baked 3 layers of a vanilla cake simultaneously, and I didn't have to rotate the pans even once. Every single layer baked perfectly level and evenly browned. The built-in air sous vide feature was another revelation, allowing me to slow-cook vacuum-sealed salmon to absolute perfection without needing a separate water bath appliance. The glass cooktop is arguably one of the most powerful radiant setups I have ever tested. The Ultra-Heat 3.6 kilowatts element boils water with a speed that genuinely rivals some gas burners. When I was searing thick ribeye steaks, the element recovered its heat instantly after I flipped the cold meat, ensuring a beautiful restaurant-quality crust. The smooth surface is completely seamless, meaning there are no crevices for crumbs or grease to get trapped in, making post-dinner cleanup incredibly fast. Another massive highlight is the InstaView window. A quick double tap on the glass illuminates the interior, letting you check on your rising bread or browning casseroles without opening the door and losing precious heat. 2. Bosch HEI8056U. Bosch has a global reputation for engineering precision, and the moment I slid this range into place, I could feel the difference in build quality. It features a heavy-duty, industrial chic design that seamlessly overlaps the kitchen counter, completely eliminating that annoying gap where food crumbs always seem to vanish. The stainless steel is thick and perfectly brushed, giving the entire kitchen an immediate, high-end facelift that feels distinctly European. Performance-wise, this Bosch is a masterpiece of consistent, reliable heating. The cooktop features burners that offer incredibly precise temperature control. Unlike some electric stoves that pulse erratically at low settings, the Bosch maintained a delicate, gentle simmer perfectly. I tested this by melting dark chocolate directly in a saucepan without a double boiler, and it never once scorched or broke. The bridge element is fantastic, flawlessly linking two burners together to accommodate a large roasting pan right on the stovetop for making pan gravy. The oven cavity, while slightly smaller than some competitors at 4.6 cubic feet, uses its space with unmatched efficiency. The genuine European convection system uses a third heating element wrapped around the fan. I roasted a whole chicken surrounded by root vegetables, and the hot air circulated so effectively that the skin was uniformly crispy while the vegetables caramelized beautifully. The included temperature probe is also a massive upgrade, automatically turning the oven off the exact second my pork tenderloin reached a safe internal temperature. What cements the Bosch at number 2 is the sheer tactile satisfaction of using it. The front control knobs glide with a heavy, dampened resistance that feels incredibly luxurious, and the oven door closes with a solid, satisfying thud rather than a cheap rattle. 1. GE PSS 93 YPFS. After rigorously testing all these models, this GE profile stood out as the absolute pinnacle of cooking technology, blending effortless usability with jaw-dropping performance. The fit and finish are spectacular, featuring fingerprint-resistant stainless steel and a sleek, modernized edge-to-edge glass cooktop that looks like it belongs in a futuristic smart home. Remember that game-changing feature I mentioned at the beginning of the video? It's the built-in smart camera inside the oven. This feature completely transformed how I cook. I could stream a live video feed of my baking directly to my smartphone. Instead of hovering in the kitchen, I sat on my living room couch and watched my souffle rise in real time. Paired with the precision temperature probe and Wi-Fi alerts, it's practically impossible to overcook or burn a meal with this appliance. The cooking performance is just as revolutionary. The cooktop features synchronized elements that easily handle oversized cookware, but the real star is the true convection oven with no preheat air fry. I was blown away by how quickly the oven reached target temperatures, completely eliminating the usual 15-minute waiting period. I baked pies, roasted vegetables, and air-fried massive platters of wings, and the GE handled every single culinary challenge with absolute perfection, delivering even heat and gorgeous caramelization every time. Beyond the cooking chops, the user interface is incredibly intuitive. The precision touch controls are responsive even when your hands are damp, completely avoiding the frustrations I had with earlier models. The glide racks pull out smoothly under heavy loads, and the steam clean function effortlessly lifted away baked-on spills without harsh chemicals.